There were some big shocks in the Premier League last weekend as Everton and Brentford picked up surprising wins against West Ham and Chelsea respectively, and Bournemouth got that all-important first win against another side that's struggling in Burnley. However, we didn't get any scores correct until the final game, the big one of the weekend, the Manchester derby, and I correctly predicted Man City to win it 3-0. So very happy with that, to get the main kind of feature game correct. And let's hope we can get some here. There are some brilliant games this weekend as well, so really looking forward to it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into my predictions. Our first two sides played in midweek in the Carabao Cup, with Fulham progressing and Man United falling out of the competition. Now Fulham, they're still quite hard to read. They picked up a good draw away at Brighton at the weekend, so makes you think that maybe they are kind of getting into a bit more of the rhythm. I think they are still missing Mitrovic. It's hard to replace those kind of goals, but they're doing okay so far this season. Man United, they again have had a poor week. They've looked poor in every game they've played. They've still got no identity, and it's very worrying times. They started the week off by, on the weekend losing that Manchester derby 3-0 against Man City, and then in midweek they lost 3-0 against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. And I must say, that Newcastle side, there were some players that I wouldn't expect to be playing at Premier League level in that side, and they still managed to get past United. So I'm very worried about the direction of this Man United side. To be honest, if I was to choose a winner, I'd pick Fulham in this, but I am going to go for a bit of a tighter game. United haven't drawn a game this season, so I will go for a 1-1. Brentford face West Ham next. Brentford hadn't won in 6, but the previous 2 weekends they have won 3-0 against Burnley, 2-0 against Chelsea. So Brentford are starting to get into a bit of form. Can they make it 3 in a row? Well, they're playing against a West Ham side that haven't won in the last 3 games, so they are struggling. However, they did win in midweek in the Carabao Cup 3-1 against Arsenal. Very good result. And I'm actually going to back the away side West Ham, even though league form doesn't suggest I should. I'll back the Hammers to win it 2-1. Burnley face Palace next, and both these sides could do with some points, but definitely Burnley. They've won 1, drew 1 and lost 8 of their first 10 games under Vincent Kompany in the Premier League. Hasn't been a good start. To be fair, I haven't seen many Burnley games, but whenever I've seen them, they've looked quite good in glimpses. But it's just not really working at the moment. I think they might need to go a bit more defensive, because I think they're trying to play how they played in the Championship, and they're just getting torn apart really. They're conceding a lot of goals. They've lost 3 in a row in the league, and they did lose in the Cup in midweek to Everton 3-0. Now, on the other hand, we've got Crystal Palace, who have been okay this season, but they're not scoring goals. They've scored 3 goals in their last 6 league games, so they're not putting the ball in the back of the net enough. They've lost 2 in a row against Newcastle and Spurs. I think if Burnley can score, they won't lose, because at the moment I'm not seeing Palace score 2 goals in a game. I just don't see it happening. It's just whether Burnley can put the ball in the net. I am going to be optimistic for Burnley and go for a 1-1 draw. Everton take on Brighton next, and this might be bold, but Brighton recently not really winning games. They haven't won in 4 league games. 3 of those have been against Villa, Liverpool and Man City, so it is tough to get many wins there, but they drew against Fulham on the weekend at home. I was expecting a win there for them. They're just not really getting it going at the moment, but every game you look at their lineup, you could never predict it, because there's so many changes, so much rotation every single game, that it's got to be hard for the players to really settle into a system, because one week they're playing with players that they're used to playing with, the next week they're on the bench, or everyone they're used to playing with is on the bench, and they've got to link up and know how a lot of other players play. So it would be tough when there's not consistency in the lineup, but I guess that's what happens when you're going to have a lot of games in a season like Brighton are, because of them being in Europe. Everton, they sometimes they're not at it this season. They lost to Luton. It really shouldn't be happening. But they are starting to score more goals. They've won 2 out of their last 3 in the league, and they beat Burnley 3-0 in the Cup convincingly in midweek. Since Calvert-Lewin's been back in the team, they look like a different side. They look a lot better in attack, scoring goals. Jack Harrison's had a good start as well for them. So I've got a feeling Everton are going to get something out of this one. On the basis of looking at squads, Brighton would be the favourites, but I am going to go for a 1-1 draw. Man City against Bournemouth should be a foregone conclusion. Man City, it's weird after 10 games to see them third in the league, to be honest, but it shows that they are actually in a proper title race this season, and they're going to have to be putting in their usual levels if they want to win it. They won on the weekend 3-0 against Man United. I correctly got that score, so very happy with that. And they didn't really get out of second gear, did they? Man United just look very, very poor at the moment. Bournemouth will be hoping to capitalise on that last game, a win, first win of the season. Can they get the job done though? They beat Burnley, now they've got Man City. I think they'd have been hoping for a better game here to try and get, on into a rhythm on that train, but it's not going to happen for me. And again, it worked for me last weekend, so Man City to win 3-0. Sheffield United are still looking for their first win. They've drawn 1 of their 10 games, losing the other 9. Could they go down as breaking Derby's record? It's going to be tight, I think, because they just don't look like they belong in this league. Really struggling to adapt. And it's been a difficult time for them. Wolves, on the other hand, under Gary O'Neill, look very well established. They're, a lot better than I expected. I expected them to be really down there, but they're picking up a bit of a rhythm. 5 unbeaten, and in those 5, they've beaten Man City, they've drawn with Villa and Newcastle. So 3 brilliant results there, and I don't see this game being a problem for them. However, Sheffield United have to win 1 game surely, so will it come this weekend? Not for me. Wolves to win 2-0. A big match on Saturday evening, Newcastle against Arsenal. Tough one to call this, as Newcastle are unbeaten in 6 league games, and they dumped Man United out of the Cup 3-0 in the week. They beat Man City the round before, and they've now got Chelsea standing in their way between them and a semi-final. So very, very good from Newcastle at the moment, scoring a lot of goals, and I think they're going to be tough to stop, especially at St James's Park. Now they're against Arsenal, and Arsenal are still unbeaten in the league this season. They did lose in the League Cup 3-1 against West Ham in midweek, but I've got a feeling that that's not really a true representation of them. They are smashing it in the league, they're sitting second, so this is going to be a very, very entertaining game. Newcastle, their last fixture was a 2-2 draw with Wolves, and I'm going to go for the same here, 2-2. Super Sunday kicks off with Forest against Villa, and whilst Forest haven't won in their last 6 games, they've drawn 4 of them, and the 2 losses have been against Man City and most recently Liverpool. So they're tough to beat. Villa are going to have to bring their A game for this one. And Villa, whilst they are very good at home, winning all 5 games so far, away from home, they've picked up 7 out of 15 points. So if Forest have a chance of getting some out of them, it will be on Sunday. Now, Villa, I do think are going to be great this season. They're already sitting 5th. I think they are going to be not Champions League. I think they will drop off in stages, but I think they are going to be getting a Europa League spot because they are very tough to beat. They can't stop winning at home. Unless the away form is awful, then I think they'll be fine for a top 6 spot. This game, I am going to go for Villa to beat Forest and join that recent club of Man City and Liverpool. So Villa to win it 2-1. Luton have only welcomed one of the big six so far to Kenilworth Road, being Spurs in a 1-0 loss. Now this weekend it's multiple Champions League winners Liverpool. This is going to be interesting because I said at the start of the season I think Luton will do better than expected because players won't be used to playing in such circumstances. You know, Luton being such a tight, small ground, the changing rooms probably being like Sunday League and all that sort of stuff will affect players that are used to playing at the biggest stages in the world. So I did think Luton would pick up a few points at home. They haven't picked up too many points home or away so far, but can there be a giant killing here? Liverpool, good form. They are sitting in the top four, fourth place. I don't think it's going to happen here. I think if Luton are going to beat anyone at home, it will be Man United or Chelsea at the moment out of the big six because the other four are flying. So I will go for Liverpool to win, but importantly, Luton to get a goal. Liverpool win 3-1. Monday night, throwing it back to the Battle of the Bridge, but this time it's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs take on Chelsea. This will be a very interesting clash as Chelsea are a bit Spursy at the moment. They got that brilliant 2-2 draw against Arsenal and then lost 2-0 at home to Brentford. Didn't see that coming. I thought Chelsea had turned a corner. 2 wins before I wasn't so sure on because of the opposition, but that draw against Arsenal where they were leading 2-0 made me think that there was something special there. But a few players were missing against Brentford, but still not a great performance, lost it. So maybe Chelsea are back to square one. Spurs, however, are in brilliant form. 8 wins, 2 draws out of their first 10, so still unbeaten. And it's going to be a good clash. However, I just don't see Chelsea winning this. I think Spurs are going to get a result. It is an interesting fixture always. It can go either way. But I am going to back the form. Spurs to win, and I don't really see how I can go against it. 2-1. So those are my predictions for these upcoming Premier League fixtures. It's going to be a great weekend. There's some brilliant clashes in there. So hopefully it's as entertaining as it looks. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more Premier League content.